Welcome anyone to my YouTube channel. This is Everett, aka Two Beasts to Kill You, aka the Beast with the Least. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my thoughts on Avowed, the video game. But before we can get into all that, please like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz, all that good stuff. Now, before we get into my thoughts, I will say there has been, obviously, if you're on social media, obviously Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, there's been some, we'll say, discourse over the video game. Obviously, if you're more of an Xbox fan, this is one of the best games of the year. If you're not an Xbox fan, if you're a PlayStation fan, maybe, we'll just say that. It's not such a good video game. We've seen a lot of, comparisons, a lot of just different takes and different viewpoints, we'll say. Me, I don't care about any of that. That's all neither here nor there. That's, what people are going to do and say and just be like, because, console warriors are going to console warrior. That's just how it goes. Me, even though, yes, I am admittedly more of an Xbox fan, if a game is bad, a game is bad. But no. So we'll now go ahead and go into my thoughts. I don't think the game is bad. I think it's very good. Again, I don't really like to do numbered reviews. If anything, I just want to say either play the game or don't play the game. Me, I would say play the game. Especially it's on Game Pass. It's what? I'm not remembering how much. It's $18, I think, a month for Game Pass Ultimate. Play the game, Even if you just spend that money for 1 month, you're going to be able to play the game. Just say about $20 gets you that game for at least a month, and you'll be done by the time it's, your Game Pass subscription is over. So, yeah, play the game. But if we're giving it a numbered review, I'd probably say 7.5 and 8 out of 10. Yes, I do think it's very good. Now, I see a lot of discourse about how this isn't Skyrim. This should have been Obsidian's Skyrim. And I think that's just an unfair comparison because Bethesda, when it comes to their RPGs, they're almost unmatched in the level of detail and what you can do in those games. Now, obviously, there are RPGs that I would I would consider better than Bethesda RPGs. I think the Dark Souls RPGs are probably the best. Elden Ring is probably the best RPG I've ever played, even though it's obviously more of an action RPG. People would say maybe The Witcher, Cyberpunk, games like that. Kingdom Come Deliverance, Dragon's Dogma. There's a lot of different RPGs. Maybe some people might think Avowed is better than any, Skyrim or Starfield or anything like that. Me, I'm more just, I'm going to take the game for what it is, and I believe this is a very good game. If anything, if you wanted to say it was like, compared to Skyrim, I would say it's Skyrim, light. Diet Skyrim. There's a lot of, obviously, comparisons and parallels you can make, but the game is still its own thing. For one, the combat system is a little different compared to your Bethesda RPG. I mean, there's guns in this game. You can, if you want, you can make this a first-person shooter. You can just pick up a gun, and now it's just a first-person shooter. Or you could use a sword, or you have a wand for, magic attacks, or just, well, not magic attacks, but wand attacks, I guess. Shoots little beams of light and stuff. Or you could just be a mage, and shoot fire, electricity, all that good stuff out of your hands. Using a book. You need a book. And that's one of the things. The combat in this game, it's not the best. I saw a comparison on Twitter about how, because you could play this game in either third person or first person, about how the God of War combat is better than the Avowed combat, which, Twitter's going to Twitter. That's a stupid comparison. One, like I said, as a reply to that tweet, one is a hack and slash with RPG elements. One is a straight up RPG where obviously the combat's not going to be the main focus of this game. But with that being said, the combat is still very good. It feels weighty, you know, when you go for an attack, depending on what type of weapon you have. Like, I used a greatsword for most of it, for most of my playthrough. I beat the campaign. I ran through it about 17 hours to beat the campaign, or beat the story. Main quest, I guess. But, you know, I used a greatsword for most of my playthrough, and it felt weighty. Like, the attack didn't just go right away. It took time. You had to make sure you were, you know, able to hit when you're going to hit, or whatever. I don't know the right words to say for that. The game is broken up more to... This isn't like an open world RPG. It's more of an open area RPG, because the game is broken up into 4 different areas. It's Dawnshore, Shatterscarp, Thirdborn, I think, was the other one. I don't remember the last place, but it was more like your typical like lava area. You know, the biomes are what you would think of. A snowy area, you know, more beach, foresty area, the lava area, mountain area, things like that. So it's broken up into those 4 areas. Well, there's a 5th area, the last area, which is, I won't say because I don't want to get into too heavy of spoilers in this. But that's more of an end game area. So, yeah. So it's not open world, but yeah, when you are in the different areas, there's side quests and things to locate, you know, dungeons to go through. So there is still a lot to go to. There's still a lot of meat on the bones of this game. I do plan on going through a second playthrough where I'm going to actually just probably explore the area and do a lot of it. Maybe not 100% the game, but yeah. I will say one of the negatives I do not like about this game is that it is your very typical just, you know, fantasy RPG, like, oh, we got a threat against the world, let's go and stop it. Now, it does separate itself by that you're for the story, you are playing what is called a godlike. Now, I'm not big on the lore for the Pillars of Eternity universe, so if I do get some stuff wrong, sorry. But you play as a character called a godlike, and what that is that a god will basically tether themselves to you and give you abilities and whatnot. You are empowered through them. And so this game has to deal with that you are now hearing the god that you are tethered to, and in the land of the living lands is what this the place is called. You are hearing this god, and you are going to help them with basically getting out of a cage, a jail. They were imprisoned, and they need your help. All while you're also being tasked with getting rid of something called the Dream Scourge, which is basically a colorful version of the cordyceps from The Last of Us. If you look at it, it looks like that. So there's, you know, it does differentiate itself with like, oh, there's, you know, the god that you're talking with being there, guiding you along the way and all that stuff. But it is just more basically, you know, we got a world threat that we got to stop. But the strength of the story does come from, it doesn't, you do get companions. There's no romance options. So if you were hoping for that, sorry for all you Kai fans, or maybe Yahtzee fans too, you know. Those are 2 of the names of the companions. The other ones were also Marius and Giada. There's only 4, but I think that helps that there's not so many companions to get, because their stories are very, you know, personal for them. One of the companions is they had fellow soldier that died at some point that they were very close to. Another one of the companions was that he basically left his homeland. And so, you know, when you're doing their companion quests, you get to know more of them, and So their stories are very compelling. Plus, the voice acting is good. It helps you to stay in, like, to be able to immerse yourself enough with these characters and the world. I'm trying to think. The game looks very good. I do think the game looks good. I know that there's going to be a lot of people who, poo-poo on that this game doesn't look super realistic. It does look a little cartoonish, but the environments look great. It runs at a smooth enough 60 frames per second. There were points where, like, the frame rate would drop, and there was some points where when you're talking with your companions, the rest of the world is going at 60 frames, but that companion is not going at 60 frames per second. Other than that, the performance didn't seem to drag. So take it for what you will. But yeah, overall, my thoughts are it's a very good game. If you have Game Pass, even if you're going to pay for it full price, I think it's still worth a playthrough. You're going to get enough. Like I said, I played through the campaign or the main story in 17 hours. It took me, a few days. I do work, so it took me 3-4 days to get through. I plan on playing another playthrough. It's very much worth dropping the money for, or just being a Game Pass subscriber for that game. Also, obviously, there's other games on Game Pass, so take that for what you want. But yes, that's it. I think that's it for my unscripted thoughts for Avowed. Again, if you like the way I do things, the way I do my content, like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Would like to grow this channel. Thanks to anyone who's listening, and I have been Everett. Until next time, I'll catch you later.